Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Beat Media Huntington. Tonight is Wednesday, March 20th, and we got a smoking hot show for you tonight. My name is Jenny Lee, and tonight I have with me Miss Dina.
Hi, guys.
And Miss Lisa.
Hi, everyone.
So you probably noticed the big green leaf that popped up when we put our show on, and it's been this big topic that's been going on in New York since Governor Cuomo announced that he wanted to make marijuana legal for recreational use, not just medical use, but for recreational use. So we figured we would start tonight's discussion on that item. I've seen it on a lot of the blogs. At this point, we have Suffolk County, who's opposed, and the town of Huntington, who's opposed, and Cuomo, who's not opposed. So take it away, girls.
I don't know. I don't know where to go with this.
Begin? I mean, I'm personally opposed to legalizing marijuana. I just think that we don't even have a handle with the DUIs with the drinking. I think adding marijuana to it, might increase that. And then you also have to think about, are the police trained to detain somebody who is under the influence of marijuana? It's just too many things going on for me. I do support it for medical purposes. That I do support it for, because I've been told that it does wonders for people with cancer. Mm-hmm. But other than that,
yeah, I'm afraid too. I mean, I'm not going to say I full out oppose it for recreational. I know there's benefits, and I'm trying to weigh the benefits. But the only thing that really scares me is the driving. That's right. What I'm so focused on is the driving. Just today, listen to this. I was on Old Country Road driving to work, and we were over there by the Schneider Farms there. And this woman in a black Lexus started to drift into my lane. And let me tell you something. It's a good thing I didn't have a full bladder, because I got scared. Like, am I going to have to drive up to the Jehovah's Witnesses property, or do I have to veer off quickly into the field and hopefully not hit a tree? Because she wasn't looking. She was looking at her phone. So with that being said, I had my hand on the horn, and but with that being said, that's what scares me the most. And that's why I was thinking about that on the way there.
But that's
a lot of benefits to legalize it. But then again, we've got so many idiots on the road already with so many distractions. And then if you want to add being high to it, holy crap, we all take our lives into our own hands. If
they're already driving around high.
Well, that's what I mean. So if you make it legal, will that be worse? Will it get better? I don't know.
You have to look at one of the 13 states that's already done it. I mean, that's your best indicator of what's going to happen. Yeah. So you would think Party Town Las Vegas would be one of those places, right? Mm-hmm. They're 1 year in. A little brief reading from them. I wanted to see, as we were talking about it, what it looks like there. So it's Vegas, 1 year later. Today marks 1 year since the legalization of recreational pot sales in our valley, and the state is rolling in the green. The money made by the legalization of marijuana surpassed expectations by 110%. In the first 10 months, there were at least 340 million in sales. The industry has created thousands of jobs in the state, but there are still some loose ends. Even though recreational marijuana is legal, you can only smoke it in private. There's been a push for pot lounges where people can smoke in social settings, but that issue has not yet been settled. Another problem involves the tax revenue from weed sales, how it's distributed. The money was promised to the school system, but the money ended up in the state's rainy day fund instead. They don't really talk about, but I have to tell you, I recall doing it. I was in Vegas last January, and the discussion came up, and there isn't any more arrests. There isn't any less. It's now they can arrest them. They can test it. There's training that's involved, but people are already driving around high. Prohibition has never worked in this country, ever. Not when it came to alcohol, not when it came to marijuana. So fighting something like this that never should have been put on as a drug to begin with, if you look at the history of marijuana and how it became illegal to begin with, it's pretty compelling. It's an interesting read.
I mean, for me, just because everyone's already doing it doesn't give me a pass, and I'm sorry. I'd rather you do it, and then if it's, just like texting is illegal, people still do it. Texting while driving, it's illegal, people still do it. But at least this way, maybe it'll be a deterrence if you continuously get fees for it. Because I believe if you start enforcing some of these things, the same money you think you'll get from generating it or selling it, you probably be able to get something close to if you stop the right people. People with all the tickets and the people not responding, yada yada yada, you'll be able to collect the same revenue. Personally, I don't care what anyone says. Anything that alters your mind, calms you down, relaxes you, lets you take on strong, it's altering your mind. It's a drug. I don't think you should be operating a vehicle under the influence. That's just my personal
legalizing marijuana doesn't mean that you're legalizing being able to drive while smoking it.
Well, I mean, but you have to take that into consideration. I mean, people are not going to be like, I'm high, I'm not going to drive. No, they're going to be like, I got this, I'm going to do it. People drive under the influence when they take narcotics. Right. You shouldn't do that either.
With the opioids.
For that.
We
were arrested for that.
Suffolk County and Staten Island were the two highest opioid overdoses in the state, counties in the state. So don't tell me that people aren't driving around on opioids. They are. They're on their cell phones. They're on their opioids. They're drinking. No wonder I don't want to leave my house anymore.
Yeah.
You're scared to, and you have to think about your children. And it's not necessarily you who, you're concerned with. What you're doing. It's the other people. Like Lisa said, this lady was drifting on. Oh, that is only 2 lanes. It's only 2 lanes there. Either you're going to go in the fields with all the other stuff, or you're going to go in somebody's house.
I was so shaken up. Oh, my God.
I can imagine.
That's scary.
It was. It really was
scary. So I'm not in favor. I'm not in favor of it for those reasons. And then if they legalize that, what else will they legalize? Yeah, I think everything is a gateway to something else. That's just my opinion. But if we can get it, great. If we don't get it, great. People do it anyway, like you said. But I would feel better knowing you might have to pay a fine.
So, let me kind of walk you through it, because we were 5 minutes late because I lost all my tabs. So we're going to show the tabs. Going to show the darn tabs, okay? Let me get back here. Okay, so here's the evolution of, right? It was Cuomo proposed, and he wanted this legalized in New York, a recreational push under the budget. As of tonight, they have to talk about the budget. It's off the budget for this year, all right?
Okay.
As far as where our town stands on it, okay, Chad Lupinacci used to be an assemblyman, and he has voted in favor of medical marijuana. These are what he supports, because now they have to break it down. Okay. Do you support legalizing in the use of medical marijuana in New York? Yes. Should chronically ill children and teens be able to use marijuana with parental and doctor approval? Yes. Ways to consume marijuana, including smoking it, using it as an oil, taking it as a capsule, and eating it. Should medical marijuana be available in the variety of forms to allow patients to choose the form they use? Yes. This comes down, should medical marijuana be limited for chronically ill patients and distributed by a limited number of hospitals as proposed by Governor Cuomo? No. And do you support legalizing the recreational use of marijuana as has been done in Colorado and Washington? No. So this is where he stands. There's an upcoming meeting. The town scheduled a public hearing for Tuesday, June 18th, 2019, town board meeting at 7 p.m. to consider prohibiting the sale, distribution, and use of recreational marijuana in any building or property, prohibiting the cultivation of the drug on any lot, and banning the distribution or consumption of recreational marijuana in any town park, beach, or place. Recreational marijuana is defined as the use of marijuana without medical justification. So that's our town. And then this is our county. Our county belonged to pitch a 1-year moratorium on growing sale. So he doesn't really want to take a stance. He said, I'll propose a moratorium. I'm not going to tell you really how I feel about it yet, because it's a big political football right now. So this is where they're all at. They're pretty much all at different points of opposition.
So what are the benefits of making recreational pot legal?
Revenue.
It's just money.
Cuomo's desperate to bring back some of that money.
So that's all there is to it.
Jobs,
money.
Jobs, money. A lot of people choose to use marijuana, even though it's recreational, as a form of like an antidepressant, that type of thing. I know a lot of people that use it in that way because they don't want to go on any type of drug.
Right. No big pharma.
For pain relief.
And I'm okay with that.
The more popular one that everybody's doing is the CBD oil, because it's marijuana. Did I do that? Okay, but without the THC component. Right. So it has the health qualities in it. And I have to tell you, I use the hemp oil, seed oil. Somebody told me to use that. My daughter's been using it. It kills acne. It gets rid of acne. So there's something to be said for this plant. George Washington, when he was elected, he said, well, when he was president, the first one, sow the hemp seeds everywhere. The Constitution was written on hemp paper. I've been saying for a long time, there's a huge, it's, for recreational and for industrial and medical, there's all different components. But when you're talking about living in a free country, supposedly the freest on the planet, it really should be regulated and available for adults who want to purchase and consume it in a legal manner. And
it shouldn't be so expensive. You see how much money this stuff is?
The CBD oil?
The CBD oil is?
No, I still just
absolutely ridiculous.
I still just Advil.
How much is it?
Oh my God. A little jar. You can go anywhere from $100 plus.
Yeah. Does it help you? I see it for sale everywhere. Have you tried it?
Yes, I have. It does. I recently started using it because I suffer from chronic pain for the last 28 years. And I don't want to do medications. I'm sick of Advil. I'm sick of Aleve, sick of Motrin, ibuprofen. I want to keep my liver intact. So I recently started using this, and it does help.
Do you eat it or rub it? Is it eaty or rubby?
What?
Do you consume it or do you use it externally?
It's an oil, and it goes under my tongue. Yeah. Oh, it doesn't taste very good. Oh, no.
Earthy? Is it earthy?
Yeah. Yeah, it's earthy, all right. It's not yummy.
If it's earthy, that means it's nasty. Because nasty. Lisa tries all that stuff.
Well, if you're used to, I don't smoke. So if you're used to smoking and you don't mind that taste, if you already smoke weed, you know what it tastes like. No, it makes me gay. I got to wash it down with something.
But see, and then that's the other thing, legalizing it. When I went to Vegas, it's awesome. They call them pharmacies with the FARM, and there's pharmacists, and you go in and you talk to the pharmacist and you tell them, like, I guess how high you want to get and for what reason. Do you want to sleep? Do you want to be uppy? Do you want to this? Do you want to that? But they have a baking section. Of course, I went in there because I was so curious. I'm like, a pharmacy? What is this place? And I have to tell you, they sell everything in these pens, right? It's already loaded in the pen. And at the airport, what I noticed is there's little places where before you get on the plane, you put your little pen in before you go through security. So they're making a killing with this, and it's Vegas, but they also have there's the dispensary for the smokables. And then there's the suckables, which is like the lozenges. Suckables, yeah. The lollipops.
They even got gummy bears now.
Gummy bears. And then there's the baked goods. The baked goods. And you don't taste it at all. When in Vegas, I tried a brownie. It was good. It was really good. It's very mellow. So it's legal there when in Rome, right?
Do it the right way. Exactly.
But you don't, that's why I asked Lisa, like, did it taste earthy? You didn't taste it when the baked stuff, you didn't taste it at all.
No, but when you squeeze that under your tongue and you got to hold it there for 30 seconds, oh God, I can still taste it.
Can you put that in a brownie or it's just not the same?
I don't know.
You should try it.
Maybe. But it helped me sleep better. And then that's the goal, to sleep better. Because I sleep like, 1 hour and a half and then I'm up. Then I sleep for another hour and then I'm up, and it's ridiculous. I wake up exhausted and wake up hurt.
It helps you sleep.
It helps me sleep a little bit better, maybe a little gradually. I see an improvement. So obviously the more you sleep, the more refreshed you can wake up, and that's what I'm looking for. So
are you groggy in the morning?
No, I haven't been. When I don't sleep all night long.
Yeah, no, I mean, does it help? Because a lot of people suffer. I suffer with.
No, it's not like taking a sleeping pill or anything. Okay. I am not waking up.
You're not hungover.
Ambien. Right. Ambien used to make me feel sick the next day. I would feel dizzy. I would just be absolutely exhausted, and it was a completely wasted day because I couldn't do anything. So what's the point?
Ambien was one of the most horrid drugs that they put out there because it has such bad side effects.
Oh, it sure did. Oh, I could tell you that. Oh,
yeah, Lisa lost her house. She woke up in the middle of the night, went sleepwalking, and gambled it away.
I'm going to bed. I can't.
That's the story, so right? Isn't that what happens to people?
That's what I heard.
They said that's how Anthony Weiner ended up sending selfies to that underage girl of his penis, right?
Wow.
Or no, and wasn't it Roseanne also blamed Ambien on her tweet.
I need to get some of that then.
We need to get a book of Ambien stories.
Because that is what I need.
I would rather see somebody, though, smoking a natural plant than taking the big pharma drugs that are out there like the Ambien, if it's helping them. Yeah. But I would probably advocate more for the edible forms because smoking and cancer and stuff, you just don't know. Like they're saying those vape pens that all the kids are using cause popcorn lung. So in the preloaded pens that they sell in the places where it's already legal, you're still smoking it. It's still a vape pen. So you don't know really, it hasn't been around long enough to anybody to really know what it does.
Well, after all this 5G goes up, I think we should all do it. Keep ourselves safe.
Hey.
Maybe it'll help us.
Well, it doesn't matter. We're all going to die anyways. And Alexandra, okay, I wish we have to change her name. AOC said we're all going to die in 12 years anyway. So smoke away.
She needs to have a seat. I'm sorry. She just needs to. Yeah, she's somebody who I'd be like, you probably should smoke.
Did you see the article, though, that there was a group that was formed called the Justice Democrats, and they held an audition to run people in the seats against established Democrats in the Democrat Party, that they wanted to take out what they consider in the Democrat Party, the establishment. So they held, the Justice Democrats, this group, held an audition. And from that audition, they ended up with 8 candidates that won, but they ran 27 seats. It's a really good percentage of people that they won. The auditions are the 3 most controversial House member women right now, which is Ilhan Omar, that Rashid woman who basically said we're going to impeach the mother right after she got elected, and AOC. Those all came from the Justice Democrats putting out an audition, and they show in a video of her telling, like, how I got here. My brother entered my name to a casting call.
The Democrats are crazy. So, if I hear one more name being thrown out who's running for president, I'm going to go crazy. The things that they're doing, it's like you got into the House some of us who crossed the Democratic line that may not have been Democrats, you make us regret our decision because now you're just going crazy. You're just doing too much radical stuff. Sorry. We asked you to get in there and make effective change. Not come in there and be a psychopath and try to be radical. No, that's not what we're trying to do.
What do you think is the most radical thing that the Democrats have done so far in the House?
I don't even know where to begin. I mean, every day I find something and I'm just like, politics today is not the politics I'm used to.
Not even not even from 5-6 years ago.
So to me, every day from both the Republican and Democrat, I'm just like, what is going on? Because it's now gone from something where you would take certain people's perspective and take it into serious consideration. Today, there's very few people that I would really take into consideration what they're saying. And even somebody like me who voted for Cuomo, he was running a good game, but the first thing he does is he puts all these laws on the line, and it's like, you are out of control.
Well, what about Pocahontas? You don't think she'd make a good president?
I am out of here.
You know, I appreciate one thing that she's trying to sponsor right now, which is breaking up the big tech. Google, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and starting to hold them accountable for suppressing freedom of speech. And even though they are platforms that are privately owned, they have become places where people gather and discuss things that are important to them. And when you start excluding voices because you didn't like something they said, you're not doing our country any justice at all. You're just showing them that you've taken a side and you need to now create a narrative. That's been a huge problem for me. One of the big things two things that really bothered me this week, and I know we're totally going off script right now, were two of the trials that aren't being covered that are very pertinent to New York. Mm-hmm. On Monday, the mastermind, I'm not even going to attempt his name. His last name is Mohammed. Okay. But it's Khalid something Mohammed. He's the mastermind. And if I showed you his picture, you would know him right away. Mm-hmm. In fact, I'm going to go there real quick. I'm going to segue over before I lose myself. The other trial, before I bring you this one, because I have it, the other trial is the NXIVM trial. Are you familiar with that one?
I've heard.
No.
I've seen it, but I don't know what it's all about. I've seen it briefly, but I didn't read all of it.
So good, I got this one right here. This one I got, so I'm going to take you to this one in a second. The Nixon trial is the largest human trafficking sex cult operation internationally that the world has ever seen. And the media has not been covering it, especially since you guys don't know anything about it. The trial started about 2 weeks ago, so I'll break you through it real quick. Okay. The ringleader is Keith Raniere. And Keith Raniere came with Bill Clinton from Arkansas. He actually was an affiliate of Bill Clinton's when they were in Arkansas together, which I thought was a very interesting connection. So they had an upper hierarchy. It was like a pyramid scheme for cult sex. And it's a crazy, crazy, crazy thing. And it's not being shown on the media. So do you guys remember Smallville?
Yes.
So there's an actress by the name of Allison Mack, and she got busted last year as being a part of this huge cult. And it's been funded by the Seagrams Harrises, Fortune, their daughter. The dad's been screaming in the news, they don't have a loud enough platform that my daughters are part of a cult. They've been taking their entire inheritance and funding this cult, as well as his private plane to fly around. It's just complete craziness. This trial is going on in Manhattan. It involves Kristen Gillibrand's dad was the treasurer of this place. Okay. And it's not coming out. Nobody's covering it. I've been spending so much time. I have this friend, I'm going to give her a shout out, Tracy Marrow. I don't know if you know her. She's a sweetheart. She listens to these podcasts on it because it's the only way you can get the news on it is to go look for it. Mm-hmm. And the people that they're starting it. Now think of this. This is the largest human trafficking globally, and it's not being covered. The other thing that's not being covered that's super important in New York, I'm going to go show you this one because it's this important to me to make sure that we interrupt our entire schedule to show this to you. This was the, let me see if I can get his name. Monday. Have you heard at all that the man responsible for 9/11, the mastermind behind 9/11, starts his trial Monday? And it's a military tribunal. Okay. Why have we not heard a peep about this, about the largest terror attack on U.S. soil since Pearl Harbor, and the mastermind Khalid Shaikh Mohammed is up this Monday for justice after 19 years. 19 years. 19 years. So just so you don't think I'm crazy, I want to give you some legit stuff. This is the media advisory, and the website is dod.defense.gov. And this is the media advisory saying, hey, dudes, listen, you got to get on the list.
How come it's taking him so long to bring them to justice?
Yeah, and where's he been? Has he been in jail?
Do you really want to know?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
All right, I'm going to finish reading this piece because it's really going to bother you. The five suspects, all of them apprehended in 2002 or 2003 in Pakistan, were first arraigned in 2008 during the administration of former President George Bush. But President Barack Obama suspended the proceedings when he took office a year later, so his top security aides could review the case. A senior Defense Department official dropped the terrorism charges against the suspects in 2010 without prejudice, meaning they could be charged after further investigation. Obama's Attorney General Eric Holder decided to try cases in a civilian court in New York, not far from the World Trade Center site where the hijackers flew commercial jetliners into two skyscrapers, killing nearly 3,000 people. There was such an outcry of political resistance to Holder's plan, with local officials citing security concerns of holding the trial in New York, that he abandoned the idea and returned the case to the Pentagon. New charges were filed, and the case was sent back to Guantanamo in 2012, where court hearings were held from time to time, but issues in the case, although no trial date has been set. They set the trial date, and it started on Monday. And it's not being shown in the news.
Wow. It's disgusting.
That and these huge trials but it should be shown. Like, this is newsworthy stuff. I'm tired of seeing Trump 24/7, Russia. I want to see some real news. I want to see.
Why didn't Obama go after these guys with a vengeance? Why not?
I don't know.
Wait, my first question is, what did Bush do with them again? I didn't understand that.
What
did Bush do with them?
Bush started the trial,
right?
And Obama kiboshed it the year when he took office.
I mean, that makes sense. If I take office, I'm not going to follow what you said. I want to do my own event. I could understand that. But what happened after
after that?
Investigated it?
Eric Holder, they dropped the terrorism charges against them. So it was no longer a federal trial. I don't know. There's a whole court. It doesn't explain why. It just says what happened, which I kind of like. It doesn't give an opinion either way.
No, I need to know, but you need to know why the charge. That's crazy. Why would the charges drop?
And then they
terror attack.
Eric Holder, the Attorney General at the time, dropped the terrorism charges, said he wanted to have it tried in a civil court in New York. His reason being was because this is where it happened. There was a huge political outcry about it. In fact, Preet Bharara was on the case. Does his name sound familiar?
No.
Oh, I could go on.
Before.
Yeah, he used to be the SDNYAG, the Southern District New York Attorney. Maybe I got that one. He was the guy. Remember when Sheldon Silver and the two right hand and left hand of Cuomo were both going to court, and Skelos?
Yeah.
Skelos, he tried both of them. He tried baby Skelos. He tried the other Skelos, and Sidney Sheldon, who ended up getting off on a retrial. And then later, after Preet was fired, they've retried them, and they've been convicted since then. So I don't know what was going on with Preet. He used to be my hero. Now he's my zero. He abandoned me. But so they wanted to move it to civil court out of federal court to Manhattan and try him civilly. And the public in New York was like, what? Hell no. And became such a problem that they sent it back to Guantanamo, and it sat there for the last 7 years. But it's not being covered. I mean, regardless of what happened, we're finally here 19 years later. Why is the media not covering it?
Well,
the media,
that's why you can't say regardless of what happened. Is the media not covering it because of what happened? Before I make any assessment, I need to know all the players and what's going on. Because I, from one, could not fathom why the media wouldn't be covering anything dealing with anyone with 9/11. That should take precedent over any foolishness that's going on right now.
Well, I can name a dozen things that they're not covering in favor of covering other things that we're just droning on about at this point. Like it's the same thing on every channel. They're all repeating the same news. There's all this other news out there they're not covering.
Nope.
Yeah, but I'm saying 9/11. Okay, so I could get that part because I know there's a ton of things going on, but 9/11 is a sore spot. We should be focusing on that.
Well, there's a meme that's out there, and it's really a horrible meme, and it shows the World Trade Center. It shows the towers on fire, and then it shows a picture of that. What is she?
Ilhan Omar.
Ilhan. Then they show a picture of her with her thing on, hijab on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then it says on the meme, it says, don't forget 9/11. I guess you already
forgot, but you forgot. I saw that one.
Yeah, that's pretty.
But the thing is, why she got elected, and I hate to bring it up again, is Obama resettled 50,000 Somalian refugees in that one area there. There was a reporter that went there. Literally,
Michigan, right?
Or no one speaks English in that town. No one.
I don't think it had anything to do with Obama. I think it had a lot to do with the Democrats trying to prove that they're so diverse. Look who else I picked. Look at who I'm going here. So hey, she, we had an issue with 9/11, but we put her up and she won. So we must be making. That's my opinion. I mean, but for me, I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. It is a slap in the face to have someone. I'm not going to say wearing a hijab is wrong because that's your religion and this is America, the land of the free, right? Okay, so we have to give, once you're here, we have to give everybody the freedom.
Can I interrupt? That was only a problem because the rules of the Congress floor is you're not allowed to wear a head covering at all, hats, military, nothing. And they changed the rules just for her. But continue.
And that's where I have a problem because nowhere else in this world, except for the United States, do we adjust to everyone else. If that is our law and you choose to run for our government and that's what was put in place, regardless of your religion, don't run. But once you make that decision, you should be made to adhere to whatever else anybody else has to do. I don't think that's right. Because your religion states you are entitled to wear hijab, you get to keep it on. And now we, as Americans, have to rewrite our whole rules and playbook to accommodate people. That's not how it works.
Well, didn't they just rewrite the rules that we can't hate anybody? But she's allowed to hate.
That was just crazy. The entire.
Did I hear that
wrong? I read it, and it's the only religion.
It's insane.
The only religion not protected in that law was Christianity.
Oh my God!
I just think
we've got churches being burned down, people are murdered, and mosques being slaughtered, and Palestinians and Jews. I mean, oh my God!
But
God.
Go ahead.
No, it's just sick. I don't even know what to say. It's sick.
The Democrats, in my opinion,
sick.
As far as nationally and locally, if we ever get a chance to talk about that, that's another story. But they're just doing too much to prove a point, and they're missing the point that they were trying to make. You're just doing entirely too much. This girl, Cortez, she is a basket case. I don't care what anybody says. If you tell me you think we can afford free Medicare for everybody, you're a fool. You're a fool. I don't think that you should have the same medical insurance I have when I pay for my medical insurance every month. Why do you get to get the same thing I have for free and I have to pay for it?
No. Right. What's your paycheck? You're not making $170,000 plus a year?
I don't know.
I'm not.
I don't know.
Can I show you something that's pertinent to this conversation that also did not make the news?
Sure. No, you riling everybody up tonight. You got my blood pressure up. I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Well, I take some CBD oil. Okay. I don't know where this went. Shoot, I just had it too. This poor woman, what she got on here? We're going to scroll through her old feed. I think her video got taken down. There was a bus driver of Muslim descent. She's got a lot of fun stuff here. Let's get off her page until I find it again. Did you hear? Let me start there. Did you hear today about in Italy, the children that got on a bus, 51 kids on a bus? I got it. 51 kids on a bus. And I want to read you the headline because I don't want to misquote it. I hope that makes sense. Okay. Shocking video footage in Italy. School bus driver identified as a migrant with Sanguinese origin sets bus on fire with children in an alleged suicide attempt. 12 children were brought to the hospital. One child severely injured with burn marks. They pan over in a minute and you can see that it starts to smoke, and he locks these 51 kids on this bus, sets it on fire.
Wow.
Did anybody see this on the news?
No, I was working today. I didn't see or hear any news today.
No. These kids, they're terrifying.
What? They're just a bunch of children? I mean,
yeah,
who was this freak?
He was a bus driver. I don't know where my page went. Can you see me or no? You can see me.
I can see you.
That broke my heart when I saw that today.
In Italy, just
a migrant
did this?
And he's a bus driver. And he had all these Italian kids on his bus. And in the beginning of the video, if you want, I'll link it back. You can see the parents trying to get the doors open. And he's locked the doors. And that's when he drives away and mows down the other cars. And he sets the bus on fire with the kids in it.
Did any of them die?
Is it on the news?
No.
What's on the news right now?
I don't know. Russia? I don't know. Trump said something bad.
Trump's talking about McCain. We can't talk about
Trump.
McCain.
He can't talk about anybody that did nothing but hate on him for all these years. He can't say anything bad about anybody. He can't.
Well, no, that's not what happened, Lisa. Trump was in a news conference, okay, with the president of Brazil. And he was meeting with the president of Brazil to talk about what's going on in Venezuela. And there's a huge, are you hearing about what's going on in Venezuela?
Nope.
Maduro and people are starving. Okay, yep. Well, he does a Q&A with the media like he always does, and he's got a couple of questions. What's good for Venezuela? He's got a good thing going on with Brazil. One reporter comes in and asks him a question about McCain. The media leads with that question.
That's it. And
they're going on with it for days, and nobody hears about what happened with Venezuela and Brazil.
Right. That's
what I'm talking about, these gotcha stuff.
And that's what happens every single day.
Dana, you're looking for the video, right? You're trying to find it. Here, let me.
Okay.
I'll send you a link so that you can kind of try.
I got it. Here's.
Who's reporting it?
Nobody.
Oh God.
Nobody. Fox News has it 11 hours ago.
I found this on Twitter in some woman's feed. I don't even know that somebody else retweeted.
Wow. People, Islam, radical Islamic people.
Radicalized and it's no different than a radicalized white supremacist.
No, I mean, even, okay, that too, but the radicals, the radical, the people from the KKK, the MS-13, they're the only people I know that will willingly hurt children. I can't grasp what on earth would possess you to hurt a child that has no clue about anything political. Even if they're knowledgeable, they're not knowledgeable enough to know, they hear what their parents say. Why would you do that?
Right.
Why? How much hate do you have in your heart that you would do that to a group of children? I've only heard of the radical Islamics, the KKK, and the MS-13 killing children. I haven't heard of any other group.
And not a bus full of them at once. That's a radicalized
Islam. No, they've done that. The MS-13 has done that in Honduras and also in El Salvador. They have gotten on a bus, a public bus, during the day and slaughtered everybody on the bus. And it was filled with women and children. Slaughtered everybody. Nobody was saved. So to me, it just is a little bit too close to home for things like that. My kids take a bus.
Can you imagine being the parent on I'm waiting for the door to open and you just locked it? What is this? And I want you to go back and watch the video after our show, and I want you to slow it down and watch the beginning, because you see the parents struggling to try to get this door open. And
God.
And now your child, you are, one thing I know as a parent, especially for children that still ride the bus, right? It is, you die 1,000 deaths if you see your child and they're in trouble and you can't help them.
Yes.
That will kill you slowly. You just lose your mind little by little, because it's like you are physically watching them suffer and there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
I don't understand what you would get from that.
Huntington had that bus accident last year with the kids coming back from, I think, Italy, and the driver didn't have the GPS right from the company and went and shredded the top. The top of the bus came down on the students, right? Oh, one of the girls had to go in for surgery. It went through
high school, right? What high school was it?
Huntington.
It was Huntington, right?
It was Huntington.
I do remember that. I vaguely remember that, though. Oh, that's horrible. Oh, my God, that's horrible. That's right.
Oh, my God. We have to do more national shows. This is such a... We need to start covering more of this stuff, but we were supposed to...
No, we should, because nobody else is.
We were supposed to talk about the parking situation. But I like where we're going with this.
No, because I mean, we honestly, let's be honest, what we have known about the other things, I knew about the 9/11 because I read your Facebook, but I didn't know about the Italy thing. I didn't know about the one with Kristen Gillibrand's dad. I didn't know about those things. So media is still only focusing on what they want. To me, I would want to know.
No, it's not what they want. It's what they want you to believe.
Right. Yeah, what they want. Yeah, what they want.
It's the narrative. Yeah. This and the news they don't cover. No, we don't want you to see that for a reason.
Well, I heard about Trump meeting with Brazil's president and, trying to do good things there for whatever that was. But the media says Trump just started bashing McCain.
No.
For no other reason. So
that's what I heard.
That's what I heard too.
That's not anything about. That's not what happened. Think about this: the shooter in New Zealand that mowed down 50 people, 3 different mosques. I don't know how he got around so much, but first they said it was more than one. I happened to be up when that news broke, and I saw the video before it was taken off the internet. And I read the manifesto, which was 76 pages before it was taken off the internet, because that's the kind of person I am. I read this stuff because my news has been is complicit. Okay. In the manifesto, he pretty much explains everything why. It's 76 pages. It's a Q&A with himself. It was kind of weirdly put together. But out of the 76 pages, there's one part where he says, do you support President Trump? Right? Do you support? And he goes, I support President Trump in the way that people think he's a white nationalist, because the whole reason I'm doing this killing is because of low white birth rates. But I don't agree with him on policy, and I don't like him as a man. The media took it and said,
Trump supporter. Because
of Trump being a white nationalist, this man, he's encouraging this man to go out and murder these people, and it couldn't have been further from the truth. He was mentioned once in 76 pages. They couldn't come up with any more material out of 76 pages, because I can tell you what was in it. This guy is upset that he felt like the refugees were invading his country, because their birth rates now are higher than the birth rates of the people of New Zealand. And he said in his manifesto that for people who value diversity, they need to be concerned with this, because we are talking about invasions when you have to be able to honor people of all races, not try to create all races being just one. And that was his whole point. He says, they attack us all the time. I'm going to attack them now to push the Second Amendment issue in the United States of America, because it's such a hot topic, and to force this to the forefront. And I may get killed, but if I don't, even better. So I can press my issue of birth rates. Everything that he spoke about was about birth rates.
Who's invading New Zealand?
Muslims. Mullahs. In fact, the president of New Zealand, when she gave her speech after the shooting, she gave it in Arabic, and she gave it surrounded by mullahs.
But they're white Muslims too. Does he know
that? That's not what's happening, though. That's not what's happening based upon and just so you know, I want you to know, and I don't mind saying it on the show, I preserved a copy of the manifesto. If you'd like to read it, I will give it to you, but they have scrubbed it from the internet.
Yeah, because I
want you to read it for yourself. I formed my own opinion. I'm a huge advocate of read it for yourself, form your own. Let's have a conversation about it and talk about it, because you know me how long. That's what I really love. I love talking through this together. But you have to read it for yourself to form your own opinion, and then have it as a discussion.
Yeah, because they're white Muslims, and the truth of the matter is, globally, except for there's one particular Asian country that they actually pay their people to procreate, because their birth rate is that low.
China.
We don't. They're the birth rate in general for the population, except for certain countries in Africa, is very low all around. So sometimes when I hear these things,
he gives supporting data, and it's interesting, but I don't think he's not talking about the birth weights of white Muslims versus, he's talking about the culture. So I don't think it even matters what color you are.
So
I think it comes down to you're losing your New Zealand culture. Think about it. They do, what is that, the Ziki, when they go,
yeah. That's Hawaiian.
I did it good though, right?
That's Hawaiian. That ain't Muslim.
That's not Muslim. That's New Zealand.
No,
that's New Zealand. And I want you to know they had one of the largest things of that, with like hundreds of people that showed up. Something like that, as a mourning for the shooting.
I thought that was Samoan, no?
No. Oh, we gotta look it up now. Go ahead. You got your computer there too.
I thought that was Samoan.
I don't know. All I know is I saw it. I thought it was really, really neat. But his whole thing was more about culture, not about color. Okay. Although he did focus on white birth rates also. He laid it all out. China is entering a crisis where their birth rates are so low, like you were saying before. They're starting to encourage people. They have brides now that are birth ready, that they're matching up with men to increase the birth rates in China. Birth ready brides in China.
Wow.
So don't think that race and culture isn't going to be something that we're going to be dealing with in our lifetime moving forward. I mean, not that we haven't already, but it's going to be as extreme. You're never going to see it be this extreme, and people fighting for their own culture. So how much do you value diversity? You have to ask yourself, do you value diversity enough to all become the same?
No. I'm sorry. I'm not one that I don't find anything wrong with wanting to preserve your particular race. I mean, as long as you're not, you know, a jerk about it, and you're not being, I don't see anything wrong with that, right? Because that's what that's what we are. We're our race. I don't see anything wrong with you saying I would like my race to continue. Because for me, someone who's African American, in about 50 years, we're going to be in the extinction book. Like, who were they? Were they real? So to me, it's like, I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. You know, but in regards to the dance, yeah, they have some Samoan and some New Zealand. I'd have to look into New Zealand and see, though.
I have to show you this too, because you just brought that up, and this came across because I want to end it on a happy note, because I know Lisa has to get to the train also. I'm trying to.
Lisa's still there?
I'm here.
I see it. Okay.
Do you see this?
What?
6-year-old Jar from Nigeria is being applauded for her beauty and has gone viral after a photographer shared pictures of her. She has been voted the most beautiful girl in the world. And she's beautiful. And she represents a Black culture, which is beautiful. And my daughter is looking for a single white male, straight, that doesn't wear nail polish. She's really lowered her standards here. And I don't think that she should be ashamed of that either, that she's looking for and having a hard time finding a single white, straight, masculine male that just wants to go to the movies and doesn't wear nail polish.
I don't.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. What happened? There's nothing wrong with that. Oh my God. It's
Can you believe we've entered that territory where you've got the
I can. Yeah, I really can today. I can't believe it.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I love my toxic male, just like he loves his toxic female, who is not feminist at all. I'm not a feminist, the hardcore one. And white privilege is not real, okay? Liberal white privilege is. As seen in colleges across the nation last week.
Oh, yes. Liberal white privilege.
You know what? I think I like what we did here tonight. We're out of time. We had some stuff we wanted to cover, but the college thing really impacts us all. It really does.
Yes, of course it does.
I think it became socially accepted instead of fought against, and maybe that's something we may want to consider that we cover next week, because I actually have a lot of stuff on that, believe it or not.
Because they were screaming about affirmative action. You might want to check into those parents who paying, and those, let's not forget those legacy students as well. The legacy students go a long way as well.
I don't want somebody going through school getting an engineering degree or a medical degree who didn't earn it, and they don't have the skill set to be able to be in that industry.
Yeah, I think most people that are saying feel the same way. Like, you probably didn't know what you're doing if you're doing brain surgery. I mean, I think most people want that.
One of the Laughlin girls, she spent the whole first semester of college doing her YouTube show. I mean, who are we to talk? But we don't monetize our show. I need to bring that out again. We have always come correct with this show.
Wait, I can go grab a brush and show everybody how to brush their hair.
That's what she does. She does the makeup tutorial. She talks to her friend. She's sponsored by Sephora. She's sponsored by Amazon. Because Amazon's in my whole room, and I'm going to put. She has 3 million followers on YouTube.
Yep.
Yes. All right, Lisa's got to go. She's got to catch a train. We'll be back next week.
We will.
Unless Facebook is gone and YouTube is gone. Anything can happen. So we hope everyone enjoyed tonight's Huntington View. Have a good night, everyone.
Bye,
Good
guys.
night, everyone.